Shalom, shalom, and welcome back. This is Bayadwa with HebrewGarments.com. This is part 2 of the review, Numbers chapter 15, verse 37 to 41. In part 1, I discussed that a tzitzit is a tassel or a lock, basically a twist in a fabric or a knot. A tassel is a correct translation. Many different translations do say fringes, and it could mean fringes depending on where the tzitzit or the tassel is located. If you believe the tassel is supposed to be located on the corner, then it's just a tassel and not a fringe. If you believe the tassel is supposed to be throughout the hem of the garment, then it is indeed a fringe. Many tassels together is a fringe. So part 2, it's going to be called Truth About Where to Place Your Tzitzit. Is it the hem or the corner? Now, if you go to my website, HebrewGarments.com, you'll see that I have an article. If you click on the information tab, it's this article right here. It's called The Truth About Where to Place Your Tassel, part 2 of 4. And here you can see that I have a picture of a Jewish man, and he has a tassel, 2 tassels on the side of his garment. So basically, it's like he has 2 tassels on each side because he believes that he's supposed to wear his tassels only on the corners of his garments, 4 corners, and it ends up looking like 2 tassels on the corner. And this is a picture of my mannequin wearing a garment that I made, and it has many tassels throughout the hem. So depending on where you think the tzitzit should go will be a fringe. This is a fringe, the garment that I made. This is not a fringe. This is more of a tassel. So they're both tzitzit. This is a tzitzit, and he's wearing a tzitzit. But how many tzitzits depends on the location. Let's review without further ado. Kanaf is the Hebrew word that the King James versions and many translations use to specify if it's a corner or a border. Many scriptures say that it's let me see right here. Reading many English, I'm reading from my website. It's going to help me, so I'm just going to read it. Reading from many English translations of Numbers chapter 15, verse 37 to 41, you find that many do not agree. Out of 19 English translations, 10 believe the Hebrew word kanaf to mean extremity and skirt or hem, which all have the same meaning. However, 9 English translations believe the Hebrew word kanaf to mean corner instead. So depending on what you believe will dictate on how you wear your tzitzits. This definition changes the meaning of Numbers 15:38 through 39 completely. Tassels and ribbon are to be placed on the kanaf of the garment, according to Numbers 15 and 38 to 39. But what does kanaf mean? This is going to dramatically change how you wear your tzitzits and how your garment's going to look. If you believe it's corner, it's going to look like two tassels on the side of your body. If you believe that it is hem or extremity, then it's going to be throughout the hem of your garment, and it's going to look totally different. Okay. If kanaf means corner, then you will only have 4 tassels with the thread instead of a ribbon intertwined at the corner of your garment, which would meet at the side, causing the appearance of 2 tassels to each side. If kanaf means hem, extremity, or end, then you will have many tassels on the end of the garment instead of 4. The appearance of tassels and ribbon would show no matter which angle the person turns. Interestingly enough, tassels worn on the hem do reach the corner as well, whereas tassels solely on the corner lax throughout the garment. So if you actually believe that a tassel is supposed to be worn throughout the hem of your garment, you're going to get the corners. You're going to cover all bases. But if you believe that it's only on the corner and you're wrong, you're going to be left out. And this is many English translations on the website, and I list what they believe it is, and that's fine and dandy. But let's just get into the scriptures on what tassel means. Okay? Now, the best way to really get a good understanding of scripture is to use another scripture. If you go to Isaiah 24, verse 1, and I'm going to go to Isaiah 24, verse 1. correction. It's actually Isaiah 24, verse 16. Okay, so reading Isaiah 24, verse 16. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. Now, the word uttermost is actually the Hebrew word kanaf. They could have used corner, but they instead chose uttermost in the King James Version. I'm sorry. So let's see here. Now, in the New American Standard Bible, and I put that on my website, they said, from the ends of the earth we hear songs, glory to the righteous one. So they say end in the New American Bible, and in the King James Version they say uttermost part for the word kanaf. So they seem to think that it's not the corner, it's the end, the uttermost part. And so if we take that into the terms of our garment, the word kanaf, the uttermost part of your garment is the hem. The end of your garment is the hem. It is the border. It's all the same. The word end, uttermost part, hem, skirt, it's all the same. It's the bottom of your garment. Now let's go to a different scripture, and I believe that it's the number 4 that's causing the word kanaf to mean corner to many people, because they're trying to make sense of it. Now, this is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 2. And it says, also thou, son of man, saith Yahweh Elohim unto the land of Israel, an end, the end is come upon the 4 kanaf, or corners of the land. Now, in Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 2, it says 4 corners of the land. The word corner, they chose, it's actually the Hebrew word kanaf. So they actually said in Ezekiel 7 and 2, 4 corners of the land. Now, this is my problem. Does the earth have only 4 corners? You know it doesn't. So did they mean corners when they translated this? Now, it does say 4, and so because of the number 4, you have to think, kanaf means corner. And that's where the confusion lies. But let me read another scripture. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set forth his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth. The word corner is the word kanaf. And see, the number 4 is making you think that it's a corner. Now, is there 4 corners on the earth? And you know the answer to that. There's not 4 corners on the earth. The Israelites were scattered throughout the ends of the earth. And so it's the number 4 that's causing the confusion. And you have to wonder, why did they say 4 corners? Well, in the Hebrew, it does say 4 kanaf, okay? And I believe that it's an idiom, okay? And you have to believe it's an idiom. Otherwise, if you don't believe it's an idiom, then Yahweh did mean that he's going to get Israelites from the 4 corners of the earth. How can Yah's people live on 4 corners of the earth? No one actually believes this. This is understood as a Hebrew idiom, and there are many confusing idioms throughout the scriptures. If you don't know what it actually means, you will understand it incorrectly, as is the case with all idioms throughout many cultures around the world. When Yah said he would gather Israelites from the 4 corners of the earth, he meant from the very ends or very extremities of the earth, not actual 4 corners. We know for a fact that Yah has scattered his people throughout the earth into faraway places that would be considered end of the earth to you and I. 4 corners of the garment, same Hebrew idiom meaning very ends of the garment, not 4 corners. So just as Yahweh said he's going to gather Israelites from the 4 corners of the earth, we understand that to be from the very far away parts of the world, even like 4 corners. It's not literal 4 corners, it's a Hebrew idiom. So then you have to understand that when Yahweh said he's to put tzitzits on the corners of your garments, he's not telling you that your garment has to be 4 corners. And by the way, many people understand it as if he's telling you that the garment has to be 4 corners, and it's not saying that. It's saying, it does say 4 kanaf, but it's an idiom. And if you understand it as an idiom, you understand that your garment does not have to have 4 corners, because some outfits do not even have corners. They go all the way around. So what do you do in the cases where it goes all the way around? Well, many people, Israelites, Jewish people, they cut corners on their garments because they're trying to force the scripture to fit. And if you don't understand what Yahweh reveals, you're going to cut your outfit up and make 4 corners. Just force it. But it's an idiom. It's not 4 corners, and then it all makes sense. We don't have to follow the Jewish people because they're not the real Israelites. And we follow them, we're going to be lost because Yahweh doesn't reveal his secrets, his truth to them. Yahweh said he reveals it to his people. And I'm sorry, they're not his people. I'm not saying they can't keep his commandments. Go right ahead. Keep the commandments. But if you're going to keep Yahweh's commandments, you're going to have to follow it from Yahweh's people, because he delivers the word to Yahweh's people, and Yahweh's people delivers the truth to the other nations. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is, okay? That's how Yahweh set it up, okay? So if you want to follow it correctly, you have to follow Yah's people, because Yahweh is going to reveal the truth to his people. Here's ancient Israelites, okay? We don't even have to continue with my opinion. What are they wearing? Looks like they're wearing tzitzits throughout the kanaf, which is the extremity, the skirt of their garment. Here's another picture. More Israelites wearing tzitzits on the hem, even on the belt. Look at that style. Even on the sleeve, he's wearing tzitzits. Fashionable. And this brother right here, all these brothers, they got their braids, they got their beards. Definitely Israelites. They're wearing tzitzits on the hem. So you see, ancient Israelites are wearing tzitzits on the hem. And according to the scriptures, if Yahweh is going to reveal it to you, it's throughout the hem. So it is tzitzits, and it is throughout the hem. If you believe it's corner, that's fine. You know, I have no problem if you believe it's corner. But all I can do is deliver the word. If you don't want to see it, then that's fine too. I'm not going to debate. It's fine. All I know is I'm going to be wearing my tzitzits throughout the hem of my garment, and it's going to be locked. It's going to be twisted according to the directions of Yahweh. And I'm not going to follow camps, congregations, or Jewish people. The Hebrew says it's throughout the kanaf. In many instances, the kanaf means end, uttermost part, skirt. Kanaf actually means wing. You know, the wing of a bird is the end, the outermost part of the bird. And if you wear your fringes throughout the hem of your garment, you will actually kind of look like a bird. It's almost like the garment flaps in the wind. You know, it's like a wing. So when Yahweh said to put a border of techelet, which the King James Version translated to mean blue, and that's actually part 3 of my video. What color is techelet? So I guess we can move on to part 3. Let's see if I have anything else to say about it. Okay, so I guess that's it for part 2. Hebrew word kanaf, it means end, extremity. Research the scriptures, do some study. You know, I mean, if you're stuck on following customs and churches and groups of people, then I guess that you don't even need to watch this video. Just go follow them, and I guess it doesn't matter what you do. But if you want to actually follow what Yahweh actually says, do your own investigation. Research the word kanaf, and you're going to see time and time again that it means end. And whenever it says 4 kanaf, or 4 corners, it's a Hebrew idiom. It doesn't make sense if you actually think it's 4 corners. When Yahweh is referring to the earth, it doesn't mean 4 corners of the earth. So obviously you can't force 4 kanaf or 4 corners of your garment to mean actual literal 4 corners. Your garment doesn't have to have 4 corners. Now, if your garment doesn't have to have 4 corners, then your tzitzits have to be throughout the hem of your garment. Okay? So, shalom. I hope this was educational. I hope I didn't offend anybody. But the truth is the truth. Yahweh gives the truth to his people. And we can't follow other nations. Yahweh said specifically, it's in his commandments, do not follow the nations on how they serve him. So the Jewish people serve him this way. They put their tzitzits on the corner. And if you follow them, well, you're breaking a commandment. Shalom. But do what you like. Shalom.